Respected elders, educationists, dear teacher and dear students, welcome. In this class, we are going to see degrees of comparison. In the grammar part, we are going to see the degrees of comparison. What is degrees of comparison? And what does degrees of comparison mean? And how various kinds of degrees are formed? And various how the construction of these comparisons are formed. Come, let us see them. English grammar. Degrees of comparison. Part 1. Comparison of adjectives. Video 269. Dated 6/6/2024. Degrees of comparison. Part 1. The scale. See what is comparison? What is a degree of comparison? The scale used to compare people and things are called degree of comparison. The scale used to compare things or people is called degree of comparison. My dear students, in degrees of comparison, two, part, two parts of speech, that is adjective and adverb, are both used in degrees of comparison. Adjective as well as adverb are used in degrees of comparison. Adjective is used the quality of people or things. Adverb is used to compare the quality of the verb. Adjective is used in comparison to compare the quality of people or things. But in adverbs, the quality of verb is used in the 3 degrees. So come in this class is now we are going. So there are in degrees of comparison, two elements, adjective and adverb are used. In this class, we are going to see about the adjective. Comparison of adjectives. There are 3 degrees of comparison. In comparison, both in generally degrees of comparison. In degrees of comparison, there are 3 scales. One is positive degree, the second is comparative degree, and third is superlative degrees. These 3 scales are used in comparison. Positive, comparative, and superlative. 3 scales. See some examples. Sweet, sweeter, sweetest. Good, better, best. Useful, more useful, most useful. See, in degree of comparison, 3 scales are used: positive, comparative, and superlative degrees. Now we are going to see. Now we are talking about here. We have taken here we are going to see the formation of comparative and superlative forms. For regular, see, for adjectives, many students recording adjectives. There are 2 kinds of adjectives in English. As we saw in verbs, there are 2 kinds of verbs in formation of tenses: regular verbs and irregular verbs. Like that, in the formation of degrees, there are 2 kinds of adjectives. One is a regular adjective, another is irregular adjective. Now first let us see how the irregular adjectives form its comparative and superlative forms. How the regular adjectives form their comparative and superlative forms. My dear students, the regular adjectives form regular adjectives form their comparative and superlative degrees by adding er and est. This is the general rules. Let us see. Regular adjectives form their comparative and superlative forms in two ways. Regular adjectives form their comparative and superlative degrees in two forms. Rule 1. They form their one with a monosyllabic word. You see, monosyllabic word form their comparative and superlative degrees by adding er and est. You see, tall is the monosyllabic word. Er, est. Tall, taller, tallest. Short, shorter, shortest. High, higher, highest. Low, lower, lowest. Less, lesser, least. Dark, darker, darkest. Bright, brighter, brightest. Weak, weaker, weakest. That is, monosyllabic adjectives normally form their comparative and superlatives by adding er and est. And some notes we have to see. If the monosyllabic adjective ends in single consonant preceded by single vowel. See, let us see the word. Big is a monosyllabic adjectives. It ends with G, monosyllabic consonant G. The G is preceded by single vowel I. So the monosyllabic words ending in monosyllabic adjective ending in single consonant preceded by single vowel. The last consonant is doubled. And then here est is added. Big, bigger, biggest. Thin, thinner, thinnest. Hot, hotter, hottest. Fat, fatter, fattest. Red, redder, reddest. Sad, sadder, saddest. The second note is if the monosyllabic words ends in E, then add simply R and ST. See, the word brave ends in single E. Monosyllabic word ends in E. R, EST. Brave, braver, bravest. Fine, finer, finest. Large, larger, largest. Wise, wiser, wisest. Here, noble is bisyllabic word, yet I have taken here. Noble, nobler, noblest. White, whiter, whitest. The third note is if the monosyllabic consonant and bisyllabic consonants, if monosyllabic and bisyllabic adjectives ends in Y, drop the Y and add IER and IEST. That's all. You see, dry, monosyllabic consonant ends in Y. The Y is dropped. IER, IEST. How we added? Dry, drier, driest. Happy, bisyllabic word. It is two syllabic word. Bisyllabic word. Happy, happy. Happy. Why is removed? IER, IEST. Happy, happier, happiest. Easy, easier, easiest. Heavy, heavier, heaviest. Merry, merrier, merriest. Wealthy, wealthier, wealthiest. Busy, busier, busiest. So, the regular adjective form there, that is, regular adjectives form their comparative and superlative forms in mostly in two ways. If the monosyllabic word monosyllabic adjective form its comparative and superlative by adding er and est. That's all. If it ends with a single consonant followed by a single vowel, add the consonant, double the consonant and r and er. If the monosyllabic adjective ends in e and est, r and est, that's all. Then, if the monosyllabic consonant, monosyllabic and bisyllabic adjectives ends, monosyllabic and bisyllabic adjectives end in y, drop the y and add ier and iest. That's all. Then, rule 2, the three syllable and the adjectives having 3 or more syllables. That is polysyllabic adjectives. Polysyllabic adjectives form their comparative and superlative by taking more and most before them. You see, beautiful, 3-syllabic word. Beautiful, 3-syllabic word. So you have added more. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Courageous, more courageous, most courageous. Interested, more interested, most interested. Frightening, more frightening, most frightening. So, regular adjectives having polysyllables. Regular adjectives having polysyllables form their comparative and superlative, taking more and most before them. Then rule, if the bisyllabic, see, monosyllabic words, monosyllabic adjectives form by taking er and est. Polysyllabic adjectives take the comparative, form the comparative and superlative by taking more and most. What about bisyllabic consonants, bisyllabic adjectives? If the bisyllabic adjectives form the bisyllabic adjectives form their comparative and superlative in either way. That is following the rules of the monosyllabic word or by following the rules of polysyllabic words. Monosyllabic adjectives could form its comparative and superlative form either by following the monosyllabic rules, monosyllabic adjectives, or the polysyllabic adjectives. Examples, you see, clever, bisyllabic word. It has taken er, est, clever, cleverest, pretty, prettier, prettiest. Bisyllabic words. Doubtful, more doubtful, most doubtful. Obscure, more obscure, most obscure. Useful, more useful, most useful. Learned, more learned, most learned. Proper, more proper, most proper. So, the regular adjectives can monosyllabic adjectives takes forms comparative to superlative forms by taking er and est. Polysyllabic adjectives takes forms its comparative to superlative by taking more and most. Bisyllabic consonants takes its perform its comparative and superlatives either by following the monosyllabic mono adjective rules or by following polysyllabic rules. Then irregular adjectives form their comparative and superlative forms in irregular ways. As the irregular verbs form their past tense and past participle in irregular ways, irregular adjectives also form their comparative and superlative forms in irregular ways. See, verb go, went, gone, irregular. Irregular adjectives good, better, best. 3 different forms: good, better, best, well, better, best, bad was best, evil was best, ill worse worst, little worse, little less least, many more most, much more most, far farther farthest, only to refer to distance, further furthest, used more widely. Here, dear students, FAR, far farther, farthest, used only to refer to distance, but UR, further furthest, is used widely in a different ways. It is used. Old, elder, eldest, it is used only for people. Older, oldest is used both for people and things. So in the second examples, we have seen how irregular adjectives form their comparative and superlative forms. Now we are in the third under, under example 3. We are going to see framing sentences, constructing sentences for positive, comparative, and superlative degrees. Three degrees. How sentences should be formed. See, first let us see the positive degree. The positive degree having the affirmative meaning. The positive degree having the affirmative meaning takes the scale as X. That is, in the positive degree having affirmative meaning, the scale used is as S. See, Rani is as clever as Devi. Meena is as good as Patti. Murugan is as tall as Tamilan. Lily is as beautiful as Lotus. That's this, both the subjects and the object are the same. Affirmative. They are in the affirmative degree. The affirmative scale is as. Rani is as clever as Devi. Lily is as beautiful as Lotus. Okay? But if the meaning, if the positive degree is used in negative meaning, we have to use the scale so as. For positive or affirmative degree, we have to use the scale as. For negative meaning, we have for negative meaning, we have to use the scale so as, not so as. Malati is not so clever as Mallika. Hida is not so good as Tamichelvi. Murugan is not so tall as Pandian. Lily is not so big as Lotus. It's okay. That is in positive degree to refer to affirmative meaning. The scale used is as. In positive degree to refer to negative meaning, the scale to be used is so as, not so as. Then comparative degree. To compare two people or two groups or two things. In comparative degree, the scale used is than. Mallika is cleverer than Maladi. Tamichelvi is better than Hida. Pondian is taller than Murugan. Lotus is bigger than Lily. So, in comparative degree, the scale used is than. It is Mallika is cleverer than Malati. Lotus is bigger than Lily. Then, to compare three or more people or things, superlative degree is used. To compare three or more people or things, the superlative degree is used. In superlative degree, that's the scale used is the, the, and in or of. See, the, in of. The mainly there is the scale. The, there is the scale used in superlative degree. You see, Valen is the tallest boy in our class. Valen is the tallest boy, superlative, tallest boy. In mango is the sweetest of fruits. There are so many fruits. Among them, mango is the sweetest of fruits. Chennai is the most popular city in Tamil Nadu. Kumar is one of the most intelligent students in the class. So, in the superlative degree, the scale used is the, and in the end of the sentence, in or are mainly used instead of in and of. Some other words can also function to the superlative degree. So, okay. So, my dear students, here we will see the degrees of comparison. What is the degrees of comparison? The scale used to refer to, the scale used to measure, the scale used to measure people or things, to compare people and things is used, is called, the scale used to compare people or things is called degrees of comparison. In degrees of comparison, two elements, adjectives and adverbs are used. In this class, we are going to see adjectives, how adjective function in the degrees of comparison. Degrees, there are three degrees of comparison. In degrees of comparison, there are three scales: positive, positive, comparative, and superlative. Three scales are used in degrees of comparison. So, okay, now let us see the regular adjectives form its comparative and superlative forms in three ways. One, monosyllabic element. The monosyllabic adjectives normally forms its comparative and superlatives by taking er and est. That is sweet, sweeter, sweetest. Okay. If the monosyllabic adjective ends, monosyllabic adjective ends in single consonant preceded by single vowel, that is big. The consonant is doubled and then ER, EST are added. Okay. If the monosyllabic monosyllabic adjective ends in E, that is brave. It takes only R and ST, not EREST, because already there is E. So R and ST are added. Brave, braver, bravest. So, okay. If the monosyllabic and bisyllabic adjectives ends in Y, the Y should be removed. Y should be removed, dragged. And I, ER, EST should be added. That's all. Thus, the monosyllabic adjectives form its comparatives and superlatives in this way. Then, secondly, polysyllabic adjectives, that is, adjectives having two, three, or more syllables, form their comparative and superlative by taking more and most. Example, beautiful, three syllables, beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. That's all. Then rule 3, that is, we saw the rules for monosyllabic and we have seen the rules for polysyllabic. Then what about bisyllabic words, two syllable words? See, the bisyllabic adjectives follows either the rules of the monosyllabic adjectives or the rules of polysyllabic adjectives. But both are possible. It is, for example, clever, two bisyllabic, two syllable words. Clever, cleverer, cleverest. It follows the rules of monosyllabic adjectives. and useful, bisyllabic. Useful. It follows more useful, most useful. So either bisyllabic adjectives could follow either the rules of the monosyllabic adjectives or the rules of the polysyllabic adjectives. But these rules cannot be randomly used. We have to memorize which words are eligible to take EREST, monosyllabic rules, and which adjectives are eligible to take polysyllabic rules. That's then recording the formation of sentence for positive, comparative, and superlative degree. The scale used in positive degree is as and so as. When the positive sentence have the affirmative meaning, then we have to use the scale as. That is, Rani is as clever as Mala. The affirmative meaning. In the negative meaning, we got to use not so as. That is, Valli is not so clever as Mala. Valli is not so clever as Mala. Affirmative meaning. So, in the positive, the scale, two scales are used. One is assets, another is not so as. If the meaning is affirmative, use assets. If the meaning is negative, use not so as. So, okay. Then, in the comparative degree, the scale used is than, THAN. That is the scale. That is, Ronnie is clever than, Ronnie is cleverer than Malati. Ronnie is cleverer than Malati. Lotus is bigger than Lily. Then Rose is more attractive than Jasmine. Reverse it. Jasmine is more fragrant than Rose. Rose is more attractive than Jasmine. But Jasmine is more fragrant than Rose. So these are the examples I am giving us. So the scale used in comparative degree is that. Then the scale used in superlative degree, that is to compare three or more people or things. The superlative degree is used. In the scale used in superlative degree is THE. That is the main thing. That's all. See, superlative degree. Ronnie is the cleverest girl in the class. Ronnie is the cleverest girl in the class. Kumar is the tallest boy in the class. Mango is the sweetest of fruits. Mango is the sweetest of fruits. That is at the end of the sentence we can use in the degrees the and in or of can be used. But these must in and of are regarding the sentence. Not in all sentences in or have would take place. It may or may not take place in and of. But the THE is must. So, okay. Chennai is the most populous city in Tamil Nadu. Then Madurai is more populous than Tiruchi. So, my dear students, the elders, respected elders, educationists, teachers, and dear students, thus we have seen what is degree of comparison. The scale used to compare people and things is called degrees of comparison. In degrees of comparison, two elements, two parts of speech, adjective and adverb, take parts. Here we will see in degrees of comparison, there are three kinds of degrees. positive, comparative, and superlative. Three degrees are used in English. Then here we will see, in this class we will see how adjectives form its degrees, form its comparative and superlative forms. Then regarding adjectives, there are two kinds, regular and irregular adjectives. Regular adjectives normally forms its comparative superlative by taking er and est. If it ends in single consonant and the consonant is a double. If it ends in e, then r and est is. If mono and bisyllabic, adjectives end in y, the y is dropped and ier, iest is. And regarding the formation of construction of sentences in positive, comparative, and superlative degrees. In the positive degrees, when the meaning is affirmative, as is the scale. When the meaning is negative, the scale is so as. In the comparative, the scale used is than. In the superlative degree, the scale used is than. In the following classes, we see so many things regarding the, degrees of comparison of adjectives and adverbs, and regarding other things, we would see. Respected dear viewers, dear teachers, and dearest students, I thank all of you for listening to my class. Till I meet you in the next class, I wish all of you a whole nice and good. Thank you.